Hello, everybody. It's me, your boy Cryptid. So, our good friend Marco Meatball has apparently got himself involved in a little bit of gotcha drama. Now, he may not be a gotcha channel himself, but that doesn't exclude him from getting tangled up in it, especially when you know, you review something that involves gotcha games. So, the communities in question that are involved in this drama are going to be Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. So, let's get right into it and see what he has to say about what's going on.
All right, guys, let's clear some of the air really quick. In July of 2024, Notlon was getting ready to come out, and I made a Twitter post.
How dare he?
It's really weird that we're using culture and music from different regions, Africa and Latin America, and then not featuring those people in the game.
That's a fair take. Everybody has their own opinions on this, and obviously, but I feel like that's a pretty fair take to have. If you're gonna use something involved,
that is
a give and take.
Shame. This led to a sort of explosion of agitation and anger and real, like a real sense of.
And let me preference all of this with I'm pretty neutral when it comes to Genshin related stuff. I didn't play Genshin for long. I played it for a very small amount of time, so I'm not one of the creators that started with Genshin or that has a deep connection with Genshin. I'm pretty neutral. I don't have any love nor hate for the game. So objectively speaking, I can say that Genshin as a game is pretty fine. But the community, the very vocal, intense part of the community is wild and very unnecessary, and it really puts a bad mark on Genshin as a whole because their vocal community is so aggressive when it comes to things. When it comes to anything they dislike, they'll make sure you and everybody in the world knows. So I don't dislike the game. I don't dislike the Genshin community. But what I do dislike is the vocal community, the small vocal portion that puts a bad name for the rest of the community.
Outrage, calling me racist, calling me a white pig, telling me.
I like that one. A white pig. Kind of funny.
That my career was washed up, so on and so forth. Saying that I wanted a Venturine.
Oh, and let's say his career's washed up. Not with almost 400,000 subscribers. I think his career is pretty good. Pretty good.
To die in Honkai Star Rail because I auditioned for it, which I never did. Calling me the leader of the woke movement, or on Billy, they call that the ZZZQ movement. Basically,
if anyone has any information on why it's called the ZZZQ movement, that is very interesting. I have no idea what it means or it's supposed to represent something, but I don't know how him saying something about a video game is, because he talks about the music. That's what this channel is about. Is he talks about the music, how good it is, comparing it, yada yada yada. He was a former, I believe, opera singer and stuff to that effect. So he has an extensive background in music. So calling him all these random things like racist, leader of the woke movement, and everything has nothing to do. He's literally just talking about the music. He's never even talked about like gameplay or anything to that effect. It's just music.
Basically getting essentially review bombed for my video on that, talking about how my videos suck, how I'm insincere, how this, that, and the other. And, what am I going to do? I can't do anything about that. Like, there's a cultural divide there. That's
all you gotta do is when people shit talk you like this, is you gotta just not acknowledge it. Like, there's no point to acknowledging it. People are gonna shit talk you no matter what you do. You could be the next coming of Jesus, and people still shit talk you on one level or another. All you got to do is ignore it, shadow them in their chat in the comment section, so they think they're making points or anything, and just they'll just be typing to themselves, so they can get their anger out, but no one will ever see it. It's just how it is. You can't have any kind of thought process when it comes to negativity. You just got to move on with yourself, because there's going to be negativity everywhere. It's just how you deal with it.
spilled into sort of my YouTube channel, and it spilled into, there was Tectone made a video about it, which is fine. I don't really care about that. About why I was leaving. I made a couple posts about why I was leaving and stopping and making less frequent Genshin videos, so on and so forth. And then on top of that, Wuthering Waves had come out, and that was something I was really looking forward to because I really loved what I played in terms of combat with Punishing Grey Raven. And so when Wuthering Waves came out, I was like, oh, this is actually what I prefer over Genshin, where oftentimes I felt like the story...
Which is completely understandable. Genshin is a more lighthearted feel and more leisurely combat, while Wuthering Waves is definitely a more dark, gritty feel with a lot more intense and in-depth gameplay. Now, I'm not saying one's better than the other. All I'm saying is there's different preferences when it comes to that. So just because he does like Genshin the most doesn't mean you guys need to hate on him. People are allowed to have preferences. People are allowed to not like a game.
Was sort of all over the place. I didn't really lock in with the story. I always really enjoyed exploration and like sort of seeing the vistas of Genshin. But ultimately, I think...
And I will say Genshin has some great scenery, some great views.
What ended up happening is I sort of became very agitated by those comments, and then the constant, and then I was putting out the Notlon videos, and there was a conversation around, oh, you're a hypocrite for putting these videos out. And it's like, I never said I was gonna like not involve myself with Genshin. I never said that I was gonna boycott Genshin. For me, being that
it's people always trying to be like you're all or nothing with this game. You either gotta love it 100% or don't even bother with it, which makes no sense. People can be critical of a game. That's how game developers, oh, hey, the community doesn't like this one part, so let's do better on it. Let's try and improve upon it. There is such a thing as toxic positivity, where if you just say, no matter what they do, they could throw us a sack of shit and we'll still love it. Well, then they're just going to throw you a sack of shit. They're not going to make the game better for you. They're not going to make the game good enough to where other people want to join it. You can't just say everything's great in the game because nothing ever improves. If you see people that still like the game that say negative things, that doesn't mean you got to say negative things towards them. It just means they want the game to improve, which you should want too.
am friends with people from Latin America, that felt more of a thing that I was more connected to. So I suppose, if people want to say that's hypocritical, then fine. I mean, like I can't control what anybody says about this anymore. And that's fine. And so Wuthering Waves came out. I started to really lean into it. We know how the update to 1.0 happened. We know that 1.0 was kind of whatever. It was good, but it wasn't great. And it felt like a carbon copy of Genshin. Okay. So on and so forth. So I continue to do what I always do. But I don't interact with Honkai Star Rail anymore either, because I was getting auditions for Honkai Star Rail. And what ended up happening was I was actually being spoiled for what was happening. And frankly, I did not enjoy Penacony. I didn't enjoy that story arc. It felt...
So I love Honkai Star Rail. I started my channel doing stuff for Honkai. I will say a lot of people didn't like Penacony. They liked it at first, but as it started progressing on, more and more people started disliking what was happening. I can see what was happening. I can see why people disliked it. I thought it was more of like I didn't like it as much type of scenario. I still liked it a bit, but I felt like the expiration point, especially like collecting the chests in those rooms that twist around and everything like that, I thought that was extremely annoying and extremely like a huge waste of time doing anything revolving around that. But that was what I didn't like about it personally.
Overwrought with dialogue, and I just didn't care. I mean, I was not interested in that. I was interested in ZZZ, but then I was leveling up Ellen, and I was like, hold on, like I'm spending all this time leveling up this character. It's what I do in every single gacha game, and I just sort
Yeah,
of got tired of
that's pretty much the
it.
gameplay.
Especially because ZZZ is such a concentrated thing where it really feels like you're like leveling up in the same way that you do and spending all your mats and stuff and the time gating. That's all the stuff that happens in every other Hoyo title, and obviously it happens in every other gacha game. I was also playing Arknights at that time.
Yeah, it's just that's one thing about gacha games that you kind of have to just look past is there always going to be a grinding aspect. There's always going to be a very tedious leveling up of characters. So that's just in gacha games in general, not just Zenless Zone Zero or anything to that effect.
On top of other games, not just gacha games. And so I was kind of just like tired of the thing. So I just stopped playing ZZZ, and also
That's
like
fair.
I'm trying to save money. So then Wuthering Waves comes out 2.0, and I'm really excited about it because it's like it's a real change of pace. I mean, yeah, I mean, I do think it's defying gacha games and moving in a different direction. I really felt like the story was the predominant important feature of the game, and I also thought that flying was also defying the gacha like game landscape, and it really does feel like Kuro is moving in a different direction. You gotta understand that like people outside of the gacha sphere, most people think gacha is terrible. Like most people, I have had to defend gacha in my
Gacha games have the worst rap, and keep in mind, I love gacha games. Currently playing 3 different ones at the moment. Hope to include a couple others in the future, but they are possibly the worst game. You Not many games have you buy gameplay on a constant like a month by month basis. Not many games can have you spend hundreds of dollars on it. Now there are some exceptions, like some of like the sports games where you can buy cards of characters or whatever. But most games, like yeah, they have a DLC pack here and there, maybe 20-30 bucks. But that's like once every what, like 6 months or something, if it's a very long lasting game. Um, but gacha games, it's like once every 3 months or every 3 months, more characters are coming out. There's a whole power creep issue that you have to take effect that you have to think about, and if you don't get the new characters, then you're going to fall behind unless you have the top tier. It's a whole big thing. And what you're spending on is just characters, just pixels. You're just wasting your money. Now, if you want to waste your money, that's all fine and good. That's your money to waste. But I'm just saying, in retrospect, compared to other games, it just has such a low payout for how much money that you can throw at it.
My content revolving around gacha games on this channel more than anything
Purely
else.
predatory.
And there was a point where I was making a lot of Genshin content, and people would be like, hey, I'd love for you to stop making so much Genshin content because it's just constantly Genshin content. And to be fair, at that point, I was actually sponsored to Genshin, and I was like, okay, well, like I could have sold out.
I mean, if you're sponsored, you're sponsored,
Genshin and made a shit ton more money. But like that's never been the scope of the channel. This channel has always been about music. It's always been about, you know, all sorts of different kinds of music. People want to use the fact that my channel sort of really took off with FromSoft because that was around the corner of Elden Ring, and that really like thrusted the forward momentum.
Which, if we're talking about music, FromSoft games has some of the best music. Like, I'm not really like an ambiance kind of person. I like really like fast, like go hard music, but the slow music that they have in Elden Ring when you're just exploring, and then the boss music, it's honestly just peak
of the channel. And then I started 3 years ago, I started reacting to Genshin, and that did very well, of course. And then I sort of doubled down on it, not just because it was popular, but also because I genuinely liked it. I liked Yu Peng Chen's compositions. And then as things have gone on, I've started to realize that like I really like Yu Peng Chen's music. There are other composers there that I also enjoy, but I don't have the connection that some of the people that come onto this channel or the people on Bilibili that were pissed at me, I don't have that emotional connection to Genshin like you guys do. Like that's your game. That's not my game. Last year I played 487 games, guys.
487? You've got to be kidding me. That's a lot of games. This man is the pinnacle of variety. In all honesty, that is so many. I thought I liked playing a bunch of different games. He blew me out of the water with all that.
I have no allegiance except for maybe Warframe and Guild Wars 2. And even those, I mean, like, I constantly oscillate. Like, I play everything. So I don't have this mentality or this tribalism where, like, I only play this or I only play that. Wuthering Waves, I streamed it really intensively for.
Which I personally think if you have the time to spend all this time in like a Genshin, just doing one thing, exploring, picking mint, whatever, I feel like you could definitely broaden your horizons and maybe pick up something else to at least break up the monotony of doing one thing over and over again. Because there's only so much you can do in gacha games. There's only so much you could do. That's why I'm playing like 3 at a time right now, is because if I burn out all the content on one, I have more content on the other, and then so on and so forth. And by the time I get to the third game and burn out all that content, hopefully I'll have another recycle of content and a new update coming out. Or if not, I have other things like I've been playing Marvel Rivals recently. That game you could just play forever. It's super fun, but you need to have broaden your horizons. In my opinion, I feel like you should definitely broaden your horizons and pick up other games, especially if you're getting so emotionally attached that if somebody says they don't like the music of your game, that you want to badmouth them on Twitter or whatever. I feel like you need to break away from that game just a little bit.
For 3 days, 4 days straight, 5 days straight, and I haven't touched it. And now I'm going to play it again on Saturday. Why? Because I want to, because there's something I want to get out of that with a skin. And I want to do an event to get that, or I want to pull for Rocha or whatever. Like that's that. I don't really operate in the same way that a lot of other people do, where they have one game where they play it all the time. And you and I all know that gacha games have this tendency to make us obsessive over them because we have to get pull currency. And because we have to like try to beat the 50-50, which is a shit ass model. So I understand that people are upset about that thumbnail, and the thumbnail in question is this one. And I look, I get it. The original concept for this thumbnail was it was actually going to be a mountain, and the mountain was going to be Wuthering Waves on top of the, not on top of the mountain, but like near the top of the mountain with other games near it. Okay. And it was still going to be the same. This is the thumbnail in question. It was going to be the same concept. And instead we chose to go with this one. And look, I get it. It's inflammatory. Yeah, it's got these two characters essentially drowning in a wave with Carlotta looking in the distance. It's actually a great thumbnail.
I think it looks great.
It's pretty well designed.
Better than my thumbnails.
It tells exactly what the original title was, which was Define the Gacha Stereotypes. And you may agree or disagree with that title. And the thing about it is that upset people. But you got to understand, like, these are fictional, like these, none of this is real. None of this is real. like people are attacking me and attacking my like life and my background and who I am as a person, saying I'm insincere. That's ridiculous.
It's just video games, guys. You don't need to attack this whole man's life and livelihood just because he said, oh, this one song in the video game I love, it wasn't his top one. Better go pull out the pitchforks and fire, like.
Look, I mean,
it's unnecessary.
There's so much content here that is of a variety. And I continue to try to provide a variety, whether it's Monster Hunter, Wuthering Waves, Sonic, main themes, the video game quizzes. Yeah, there's a couple, what just came out, rhythm games. Yes, look, Honkai Star Rail, actually loved that theme. Warframe, Pokemon, Balatro, Infinity Nikki, the best games of the year, an interview with Alex Mukala, Path of Exile 2. Look.
Man wasn't kidding when he says he plays a variety of games.
A whole video about gacha games. I understand, like, obviously my most popular video is the Scaramouche battle theme, and then also La Signora, and then we can go further down. But look at the variety here. My top most played videos. It's not just Genshin Impact. Am I grateful for Genshin? Of course I am. I've never been like, fuck Genshin, it's the worst game ever made. But some of you guys are attaching so much of your personhood to a video game. A passive thing that we play to relax. So I understand the upsetness over this thumbnail, that has caused some upsetness, but really, I also think
I do not agree. I feel like the thumbnail is just a thumbnail. Of course, it's going to make people click on the thumbnail. That's the whole purpose of it. If you get upset by a thumbnail, you need to reevaluate just what pisses you off. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a thumbnail. If you don't like the thumbnail, don't click on the video, because you click on the video, it just endorses the video. But
think that
whatever.
the upsetness is not actually pointed. I mean, it's pointed towards me because I'm no different than rage baiting drama content creators, because they just like pull everything possible and create drama around it, and they create and they fuel this like sense of like, well, my game is better than this game and this game is better. But I want you to take a step back and consider the fact that what other game besides maybe the console wars with PlayStation versus Xbox do we really see like, well, Sonic is better than Pokemon because of this and that, or you know, I don't see anybody going, well, Breath of the Wild is better than Genshin Impact.
They did say that at the beginning. That was actually a fairly highly compared thing when Genshin came out. So that one not so much, but the other ones, yeah. But Breath of the Wild and Genshin were very highly compared when it was when it came out. So I don't know about that one.
Like, I mean, maybe that's a bad comparison. It probably is. So look, I mean, I think this thumbnail was admittedly have been carrying a lot of anger towards a portion of the Genshin Impact community that have decided to like shit all over me. I get it.
Which is very fair and valid. Very fair and valid. I mean, if you're like, hey, I don't like this one thing, then you have a whole angry mob coming after you. Of course, you're going to have some resentment. You're going to have some anger towards them, because how dare they? How dare they just try and burn you at the stake just because you said you didn't like one thing?
This thumbnail definitely pushed the edge of what is apparently appropriate for my content, because I guess my channel is a safe space. And I get that. I should be more neutral. But also, I made a video not too long ago.
You should not. You should be as inflammatory as possible, because fuck anyone who has their feelings hurt like that. They need to grow the fuck up and get over themselves. Don't try and pander to everybody. Just try and be yourself. Pandering to people just leaves you feeling worse.
You know, and I asked people, should I give you my honest opinion? And the answer was yes. And so I've tried to do that. But that's obviously been met with pushback. And what am I going to do? Am I not going to celebrate the fact that I like Wuthering Waves more than Genshin? Because why? Because something is owed? Then I owe something to all of these games too, then, guys. These are the most popular videos. Then I owe Kathy Kelly a lot. I owe Ultra Kill a lot. I owe Warframe a lot. I owe World of Warcraft a lot. I owe my buddy Luis a lot. I owe Greg Wanamaker a lot. I owe League of Legends a lot. You know, Baldur's Gate a lot. Well, what am I supposed to do? I mean, like, I'm just a person. So like, I am sorry if my content, it has been a safe space, and this thumbnail like triggered you because of all the other bullshit that you see going around. In that case, yeah, I do feel bad. I like the thumbnail. It really does a good job of articulating how I felt.
I gotta say, if he should keep the thumbnail. Like I said before, fuck anyone who doesn't like that thumbnail. It's the people who watch your content the most are going to be your haters. That's just how it is. Most people hate watch all the time. So leave the thumbnails that piss people off. Leave everything in that pisses people off, because it's going to bring in more people than it is going to drive them away, because they're going to get mad, click on the video, and interact with the video. They're going to view the video, add that to the view pile. They're going to probably comment on the video, add that to the comment pile. It just brings your interactions up.
Felt about it. Could we have done it differently? Of course we could have. Of course we could have. But people shit on you for anything. They shit on you if you do a pog face. They shit on you if your face is even in the fucking picture, even though we've looked at the stats doing thumbnail A/B testing, and we know that faces actually bring in more views than a static image.
I've actually had people comment on my videos because I had a pog face in one of my thumbnails, and they all viewed the video and everything and just commented, just said, never do a pog face ever again. Just like, why? People are so angry about the most random things.
And realistically, this video has done well, but it's nothing crazy. I made $65 off of that video. So we can't even act like this video has been done just for the sake of money. You know, and people are like, well, you should toughen up and you should do that. Look, I watched my dad die. And something happens to you when you experience that, bro. I mean, as
someone who's experienced the same thing, I can attest. It is a very life-changing experience, and my sympathies for you, Marco Meatball, for having to go with that. I am sorry.
I cry a lot. I'm a sensitive dude. One has to be sensitive if we're talking about emotion. We're talking about music. So, you know, for those of you that are like, you should just like ignore it. I mean, obviously I don't have a choice. I mean, I guess that's just part of my life and I kind of have to pick and choose. But like, you can't expect me to make emotional videos talking about the ins and outs of what we feel when we talk about music without being emotional. That's absurd. That makes no sense.
That's the whole essence of music. So I completely understand that. I may not be the most emotional uh, person, but I can completely understand that if you're going to be involved with music, you have to be in tune with your emotions. It's just how it is.
You know, so I won't apologize for being an emotional person and not being able to like tolerate bullshit. This is bullshit.
Absolutely.
The quality has not changed. A lot of these videos have been in the works have been in the backlog for months. And I've always sort of treated this superficially. Talking about it from an emotional perspective is not going into the weeds of the technicalities. That is not what this channel is about. This channel is a music appreciation channel. This channel is where we talk about music. We talk about music and how it makes us feel. We talk about how a corner makes us feel, how a section makes us feel. I can't talk about everything because, again, you can't please everybody. So someone might say, hey, you're actually talking too much. On the flip side, they might say it's not talking about it enough. But I saw someone say that I was insincere or that I am shallow.
You just got to remember, you just got to do your own thing. Don't let people try and change you. Talk however much you want to talk. Make the videos you want to make. If the people like you, they'll watch you. Just don't try and change for anybody else. Just try and do what you want to do. Be you.
I just don't agree with that. And I will put my foot down about that because it's absurd. That's absurd. I don't know, man. Like, I've been carrying a lot of baggage about the whole Genshin Impact thing, and obviously it sucks to have like a community turn on you because they feel you turned on them. Dude, it's a fucking video game, man. I don't know. I feel bad that you're upset. That sucks. I'm still planning on making Genshin Impact content. Like, I'm not going to stop doing that. Because why?
And never let any community, no matter how negative, drive you away from a game you love. I mean, he wants to keep making Genshin content, even if the community says all these nasty things and has all this hate towards him. But if you like a game, even if the community's bad, don't let it drive you away from a game you like.
Because I'm a hypocrite? For what? For saying something bad about a game?
What have I
really said? What have I really said?
How dare you say one bad thing?
I just like, you know, I'm sorry for making you feel like this was a safe space and then sort of pulling the rug from under you. But I want to remind you that this is a nothing. This is a nothing. This is a nothing. And I guess I stepped on a pile of snakes or something and I got bit. Okay, I guess. But like, it's just a nothing. It's a thumbnail. And every person on YouTube...
Look, that thumbnail ruined somebody's day. And I hope you understand how bad that was. How much hurt you give to that one person that got so upset. They probably cried themselves to sleep that night because they saw that thumbnail. And how dare you talk bad about their game. Truly despicable behavior.
Every person on YouTube does it. Look, thumbs down. Thumbs down, question mark. You know, I'm just sort of tired of having this like back and forth, which is why I deleted X. Because I'm tired of it. I open the app every time, and every time it's just bullshit. It's just angry people.
X is a fucking cesspool, and you cannot change my mind. It is just a place for people to be as horrid and as rotten-minded as possible. I honestly feel like that's the whole point of it. It's just to have them all in one place so they can just shit talk each other to oblivion.
And I promised myself I would get off of it, and I just chose to. It's just too much. I'm a sensitive guy. I'm not going to change that. Not for you. Not for anybody. I've not even changed that for people that I'm with, significant others. This is who I am. I don't want you to be upset, but I also want to do things the way I want to do them. Nothing's changing on the channel.
You go, man.
I'm still going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I also think about it this way: every gotcha game has a new release every 4 to 6 weeks. I
Yeah.
don't want this to be a gotcha channel. I don't care if that's what brings in the most views. People talk about selling out and stuff. When I stopped making as many videos for Genshin, I left that sponsorship. I'm not sponsored by Kuro. We tried. They didn't go for it. Like,
That was rough, buddy.
I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad. It sucks. I don't I don't have an allegiance to any game. I've never had an allegiance to any game. I really am sorry if you felt like this was a safe space and you got your rug pulled out from under you. I mean, it's not going to jump on everything. It's been 3 years. We're 3 years into this guy, February 11th. I'm just cruising. I'm just trying to always find my footing. I don't know. For those of you that this doesn't apply to, like, sorry. I mean, it's
Everybody who was bad mouthing this man, you guys honestly need to get a life, because this man, all he wants to do is talk about music. It's his passion, and you're gonna sit here and shit talk him and be like, "Wow, uh, he didn't like the music of my favorite game. He needs to go die in a ditch or something." You guys need to get over yourselves. You need to give this man a like and subscribe, because this guy, he honestly puts out fantastic content. If you're really into music, or just want to hear something about your favorite game, I'd give this guy a view. Check him out, Marco Meatball. He doesn't deserve any kind of hate for just reviewing game. Honestly, just reviewing games and just appreciating music. He does not deserve any hate whatsoever. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you all. Thank you for reaching 30 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. But thank you. I'll see you guys on the next one, and have a great day. Peace.